Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we are going to be recapping the Orioles' 4-2 win over the Chicago White Sox to not only win this specific game, but win the series overall against the Chicago White Sox. They're already winning the series 2-0. They have Game 3 tomorrow afternoon, where they're going to go for the sweep against the White Sox. But for right now, they have won this series. This is their second series win of the year. Their other being the first opening series against the Minnesota Twins. But this is their second series win of the year. They sit at 5-6 on the year. There's a lot to go over in this game, and there's a lot to talk about with this team. Haven't posted in a few days. There was some stuff going on this weekend where I couldn't record some episodes, but we are here. The Orioles this weekend, obviously, if you weren't paying attention, did get swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was very, very unfortunate. They fell to 3-6 at one point going into this White Sox series, where they desperately needed a series win, and more importantly, a series sweep, which is what they're going to try and do tomorrow. But the Orioles have won the past two games against the White Sox. They won yesterday 2-1. They won today 4-2. They've won this series against Chicago. And let's just go over this game really quickly, because after I go over this game, I do want to talk about some certain players and just how they've been playing throughout this year. The sky is kind of falling a little bit for the Orioles. If you want to look at like the Orioles community online, the sky is falling just a little bit. Because there's been a lot of disastrous things that have gone on. The Orioles' bats really haven't been getting going recently. The starting pitching, aside from Trevor Rogers, has been pretty horrendous. The bullpen isn't very reliable, and the defense in the outfield and in the infield has not been great either. So all the phases with baseball, bullpen, starting pitching, bats, being patient with your at-bats, and also just the defense in general, all of that just hasn't been clicking for the Orioles. It's been kind of a mess recently, and obviously they won today and they've won the past two games, but looking at everything in a big picture, it has been a little bit concerning to see the start of some of these players. More importantly, guys like Pete Alonso, guys like Samuel Basallo, guys like Colton Cowser, where some of these guys just are not playing well right now. They're not playing winning baseball right now. And even for the Orioles today, they went 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. So if the Orioles bats were on top of it, and if they were getting timely hits, this game could have been at least a 10-run difference in terms of a game, because the Orioles got so many guys on base today. I mean, they left 14 guys on base today, and they only won by 2. So, again, shout out to the pitching today. The pitching was incredible. Trevor Rogers got the start today. He was great, but this offense really needs to learn how to get some timely hits, and it's the exact same problem as last season as well, because last year, the Orioles were getting on base, but they just couldn't bring in runners. And then you sign Pete Alonso, you trade for Taylor Ward, two guys who can bring in runners, who've been known for getting high RBI numbers throughout their career, and it's just not really happening and not all coming together right now for the Orioles. And again, it's still early in the season. We're 11 games through the year. There's still plenty of time for things to kind of change for the Orioles' direction in the Orioles' favor. But for as bad as the Orioles are looking right now, I hope and I pray that this is the worst that the Orioles are going to look all year. Because if this is the worst version of the Orioles that we have right now, and they're sitting at just 5-6 on the year, then I do think things can be in more of a positive light moving forward. Because right now, it's kind of a disaster. I can't even lie to you guys. It's kind of a disaster when it comes to this team in multiple different phases. But what's not a disaster is Gunnar Henderson these past few games. He has 3 home runs in the past 5 games. He has back-to-back days with a home run. And really, he has been the difference maker in both the game today and the game yesterday. So Gunnar Henderson is who to thank for the past 2 wins for the Orioles, along with the pitching as well. Gunnar Henderson hit a home run in yesterday's game, which is the difference in the game. And then today, he hit a 2-run home run in the 8th inning to give the Orioles the lead. And then obviously they went on to then win the game. So Gunnar Henderson has been huge for the Orioles in the past 2 games. He has 4 home runs this season, which I think is tied for second most in the league this year. So Gunnar Henderson, when it comes to his bounce back season, when we said that we wanted to see more power and more pop from Gunnar, it is already looking looking like he is going to have a great season and a pretty high home run number hitting season as well, which is what we were missing from last year. But going over the offense in this game, starting off with Taylor Ward, who has been the leadoff man in every single game this year. And I just want to quickly shout out Taylor Ward because he has done everything that a leadoff hitter is supposed to do. For the first few games, it was a little bit of a struggle. I came on here and openly said that I think that we need to kind of shy away from the Taylor Ward leadoff experiment. And ever since that game where he went 4 for 5, he has been on fire. He has a .333 batting average this year, a .431 on-base percentage, and a .476 slugging. In today's game, he got on base 3 times. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks, so 3 base appearances for Taylor Ward. Drove in a run in this game, which was crucial to get this game started for the Orioles and to get the bat started, I guess, later on in the game, eventually then with the Gunnar home run. But Taylor Ward, he's been playing great. He's the highest average hitter on the team that plays regularly. So shout out to Taylor Ward. He was great today, like he has been for a majority of this season. And then going over to Gunnar, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, the 2-run home run in the 8th inning to give the Orioles the lead. It was really the go-ahead homer to give the Orioles the win in this game. He also struck out twice, left some guys on base early on, left the bases loaded early on as well. But Gunnar Henderson, past 2 games, has hit some really big home runs, which has then resulted in the Orioles winning the game. But Gunnar Henderson, .244 batting average this season, a .556 slugging, so you'd love to see that from him. Again, he has 4 home runs to start this year, so hopefully he can keep this hot streak going. And going over to Pete Alonso, and this is someone that I do want to talk about because he has been pretty disappointing recently, ever since he hit that solo home run against the Rangers. Ever since he hit that home run, he's been in a pretty big slump. He went 0 for 4 in today's game with a walk, so he did get on base once, but he was 0 for 4 today, and he did, leave. And when it comes to runners in scoring position, he was 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position today, along with the majority of the other team. But Pete Alonso has not been great to start the year. At the very beginning, for like the first week, he was great. But this road trip, going on the road to Pittsburgh and going on the road to Chicago, he has not been great. I'm pretty sure he's like 1 for 19 or 1 for 20 in these last 5 games against the White Sox and the Pirates. So Pete Alonso has been struggling quite a bit here. Obviously, we know what he brings to the table. We know his talents and what he's able to do. So I'm not going to overreact too much to this slump, but I would like to see Pete Alonso getting things going because he only has 1 home run on the year, and it was that solo home run against Jacob deGrom against the Rangers. But I really would like to see Pete Alonso get things going sooner rather than later. He's only sitting at a 186 batting average with a 271 on-base percentage and a 279 slug. So those are pretty low numbers from Pete Alonso, who has always kind of stayed in like the mid to high 200s and sitting at like a ton of home runs throughout his career per season. So I'm looking for him to get going sooner rather than later. Going over to Samuel Basallo, he had 3 plate appearances in this game. He went 1 for 3 with 2 walks, so really cool to see Samuel Basallo have some patient at-bats. He's only batting a 167 on the year. He has struck out quite a lot this season. He struck out twice today, but he did get on base 3 times. He had a hit and 2 walks, so you like to see that from Samuel Basallo. And a lot of Orioles hitters today got on base a lot and had a lot of at-bats because the Orioles drew 8 walks and had 8 hits. So they were able to get guys on base a lot in this game. But again, Samuel Basallo, love to see the 2 walks there, having more patient at-bats. Dylan Beavers went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in today's game. He eventually did get benched for Tyler O'Neill, who came into the game and had 2 singles in this game. He went 2 for 3, so nice to see Tyler O'Neill come off the bench, get those 2 hits. Jeremiah Jackson was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Not a great game from him. Colton Cowser was 0 for 2 today. He ended up getting benched for Ryan Mountcastle, who ended up getting an RBI off of a sac fly. And then Leody Taveras came in off the bench as well. So we kind of rotated through 3 hitters from Colton Cowser. But Colton Cowser has been struggling to start the year as well. He had a good first few games, but recently he has not been great at all. And because teams are just spamming changeups at him, and he just does not know how to hit a changeup. I think I saw a statistic to where like he's never actually gotten a base hit off of a changeup in his career. So Colton Cowser, you would really like to see him get going because, again, his center field spot, his starting center field spot is not safe in my opinion. And I said this going into the year. Like Colton Cowser, man, like Leody Taveras, the way that he's played, I mean, he is like obviously he's had a limited number of at bats, but a 400 batting average, a 500 slug. He had that 3-hit game the other day against 3-hit game against the Rangers in that third game of the series. But Leody Taveras could take that starting center field spot if he's producing more than Colton is. And also Colton's defense has not been great either. Same thing with Taylor Ward out and left. Like the outfield defense has not been great. The infield defense really hasn't been that great as well. But Colton Cowser is really not he's not playing well at center field. So his spot is not safe at all. Leody Taveras could easily get more reps than him. And when Jackson Holliday comes back, it's a big conversation on who are the Orioles going to send down. And I think that a lot of people may be looking at Colton Cowser to send down to AAA. Some people are looking at Colton Cowser. Some people are looking at Jeremiah Jackson. But I do think that Colton Cowser has to be in that conversation because something is just not right with him. He's not playing well this year. He didn't play well all of last season. He hasn't really done much since his rookie season. So you would really like to see Colton get back on track. Kobe Mayo at third. He was 0 for 3 today with 2 walks and a strikeout. So you'd love to see him get on base with those 2 walks, but 0 for 3. He's at a 154 average. He actually has the lowest average of any qualified hitter on the Orioles right now. So not great from your starting third baseman at Kobe Mayo, but Blaze Alexander, man, there's not enough good things I can say about this guy. He has been a dog for this team ever since the first game of the year when he started at second base. But Blaze Alexander was 2 for 4 today with a run scored. He has a 320 batting average, and again, this is a rotational guy. He started at shortstop today. We let Gunnar have the DH spot, but Blaze Alexander looked great today. He plays some great defense at third and second and short, wherever he ends up playing. So I don't think that Blaze is going to get sent down when Jackson Holliday comes back. And even when Jackson Holliday does come back, I still think that we need to find a way to get Blaze Alexander at bats because he has been a dog. He's had some really good at bats, some really good counts, and you really like to see what I'm loving what I'm seeing from Blaze Alexander right now. It was a great pickup by Mike Elias. And going over down to the pitching real quickly, Trevor Rogers, another quality start for Trevor Rogers. He's 3 for 3 on quality starts this year. 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, and 101 pitch count across those 6 innings. A 1.89 ERA in this season for the first 3 games of the year. A 1.89 ERA. He's been playing great. He didn't get the win today because he left the game when the Orioles were actually losing 2-1. But Trevor Rogers does have another quality start. You'd love to see it from him. Ynier Cano actually gets the win today. He goes 1 inning, doesn't give up a run. Grant Wolfram doesn't give up a run. Anthony Nunez doesn't give up a run. And then Ryan Helsley strikes out 2 and gets the save. So the Orioles bullpen today was great in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. You like to see that from the bullpen. Trevor Rogers, another great game. And if you think about it, in 3 of the 5 Orioles wins, it's been when Trevor Rogers is on the mound. So the Orioles are 3-0 when Trevor Rogers starts for them. It just goes to show again how incredible Trevor Rogers has been for this team. But you'd love to see it from him. The offense got going late thanks to Gunnar Henderson's 2-run homer. But overall, this team has had their struggles. They've had their outfield struggles. Like today, for example, Taylor Ward out and left. The White Sox ended up scoring their first run because Taylor Ward could not field the ball. And I think if you zoomed in on the sequence, he had a hand warmer in his left hand because I think it was like 35 degrees out in Southside Chicago today. So the game was being played earlier because of that and all that stuff. So it was just a weird baseball game. It was very cold. The Orioles bats were getting on base, and they were drawing walks and getting on base early, but they just could not get the big hit to send them home. And then Gunnar Henderson finally in the 8th inning gets a big 2-run homer to break the tie, give the Orioles the lead. They end up winning 4-2 because the bullpen does their job. Ryan Helsley gets the save, and then tomorrow we move into the game tomorrow afternoon where the Orioles are going to try and get the save, or not the save, they're going to try and get the sweep over the Chicago White Sox. If the Orioles come in tomorrow, they can move back to 500 at 6-6, and there's a lot of teams around the MLB that should be playing good but are struggling, so I'm not going to sit here and overreact too much to being 500 right now. Like in a month and we're still 500, then I'm going to start worrying a little bit. But if the Orioles can win tomorrow, they'll sweep the White Sox, they can move back to 500, and then you just move on from there and move forward from there. Tomorrow it's going to be Sean Burke on the mound for the White Sox, and it's going to be Kyle Bradish on the mound for the Orioles. Kyle Bradish, he's 0-2 to start the year, has a 6.23 ERA. He has really, really struggled to start the season. He struggled with his location, so hoping that Kyle Bradish can get back to being the Kyle Bradish that we know tomorrow. We need a big bounce back game from him because he has not looked good at all in his first two starts this season. And obviously we know what expectations we have for Kyle, so hopefully he'll be good there. We also have some other news regarding the Orioles, and that is the fact that they traded for a bullpen arm from the Cardinals, who should be probably making his debut tomorrow sometime out of the bullpen. Also, Jackson Holliday is close to returning. And then the last one is that Zach Eflin, who we talked about him getting hurt in that, in his first start. He ended up getting hurt. We put him on the 15-day IL, and today, this morning, he got transferred over to the 60-day injured list. So not great for Zach Eflin at all. Going to have other guys step up, whether that's Brandon Young, whether that's Cade Povich, whether that's Dean Kramer. Whoever is going to be that fifth starter for the Orioles, they really need to step up. Chris Bassett has not looked good this year. Shane Baz has looked okay this year. Kyle Bradish hasn't looked good. And then Trevor Rogers obviously has looked great. So a lot of inconsistencies within the starting lineup. The defense for the Orioles isn't really helping that case. The bullpen for the Orioles has not really been helping the case either, and then the offense just can't really find the big hit a lot of the times. They did today and they did yesterday, but you really want to see some games from this offense where they're putting up 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10-run games sometimes, because this offense has the potential to do that. You have some guys who are underperforming, like Pete Alonso and Colton Cowser and guys like that who are underperforming. But, you really just want to see this team have all the phases click at the same time as we move throughout this year. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, make sure to click the link in the bio to check out the Twitter and the Instagram. I tweet all the time on that Twitter account. I live tweet every single Orioles game. Make sure to give that a follow. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate all the support. Again, we'll be back at it again tomorrow covering Game 3 of the Orioles and White Sox, where hopefully the Orioles can get the sweep, a much-needed sweep, by the way. This was already a much-needed series win that they got today, but tomorrow they need to get that sweep to move to 6-6 on the year, and they can just move forward with the season. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a great Stills Day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see you later. Peace out.